The government just hours into a shutdown as lawmakers have failed to reach a last-minute deal. Joining us this morning, and I used that term this morning, Senator Daines, Republican Senator Steve Daines of Montana, meaning that the sun did come up here. I don't know about D.C. Did the sun come up down there for you as well, Senator?
Joe, the sun comes up every day, regardless of what D.C. does.
Yeah, thank God, right? Will it, and that will continue, I guess. But how many mornings do you think we'll be saying this, in your view?
Yeah. Well, I hope it's not very many mornings. And for those of us who've been here for a lot of years, I remember the shutdown in 13, the shutdown in 18. This will come to an end. But in this particular case, it will come to an end when 5 Democrats join the rest of us and pass this temporary extension. It'll take us to November 21st. To allow time to get back to the bipartisan negotiations on the appropriation process, which was going very well, by the way, until Chuck Schumer decided to shut things down. So this will come to an end. I hope it's sooner than later. There's no reason we should be in a shutdown. It costs the taxpayer money. It disrupts government services. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really deliver any political or policy objective. So let's end the shutdown and get both sides back to the negotiating table, get the appropriations through, and move forward. That's the right answer. It's the best answer as well.
It's been said ad nauseum, and I think that Senator Schumer himself has even said, I got a lot of flack for acquiescing last time, and I'm not going to make the same mistake again. And we've heard about, challenges from the left flank to Senator Schumer. I just figured out a way to do it. 5 senators, we've already had 3 that have broken rank with Senator Schumer. 5 could do it, and Schumer could say, I didn't acquiesce. I couldn't control these guys. I tried to hold the line, and it could happen that way. But would that hurt him long term?
Well, I think he's in trouble politically regardless. But you hit the nail on the head, Joe. This is about Chuck Schumer trying to save his leadership. And unfortunately, he's yielding to the far left side of his party who are demanding this shutdown. If you look at that New York Times poll that just came out in the last 48 hours, most of the American people think it's a really bad idea for Democrats to do this. A New York Times poll, Joe, and Democrats themselves are split on shutting the government down, but Schumer, unfortunately, is yielding to the far left side of his party and taking the government as a hostage in this shutdown. We need to also pass a piece of legislation that would prevent any more government shutdowns. We voted on that piece of legislation this week. Senator Ron Johnson had it. That would simply not allow a government shutdown to be a hostage taken when one side or the other has a fight about a particular policy outcome or a political problem. We should end government shutdowns. And in this case, if 5 Democrats would just join us today, we'll vote again today, by the way. If 5 more join the 3 that broke from Chuck Schumer yesterday, we'll end this government shutdown and get back to common sense, bipartisan appropriation negotiations, extend this short-term funding resolution until November 21st, and get back to the business of the people.
So for this to end, and I'm wondering, I could see the way that would happen. You peel one more off, and then it's almost like when they're trying to pick a pope, I guess. You see what's happening, and slowly the tide starts turning. So you think this could end without the Republicans offering anything, without blinking at all?
Absolutely. And Joe, we shouldn't be blinking. You can't reward this kind of behavior. You look back in the history of shutdowns in the past, they will come to an end, and then the negotiations will begin. That's the best answer. That's the right answer. And keep in mind, we were making great headway under John Thune's leadership and Susan Collins leading our Appropriations Committee of getting bipartisan, with strong bipartisan votes of getting appropriation bills across the finish line, across the Senate floor, across the House floor. We were getting close. And then Chuck Schumer sadly threw this wrench into it. That's what we got to get back to, is regular order, and we'll get there. It's just a matter of time. I've watched this before. There'll be more Democrats that will eventually break from Chuck Schumer, and we'll get this clean CR passed.
After it does finally happen, Senator, are you in favor of extending the COVID Obama subsidy or the subsidies for Obamacare?
I'm not. You look at this was always meant to be a temporary emergency COVID era subsidy. It's a $350 billion price tag, and it is absolutely rife with fraud, waste, and abuse. And so it is not a good idea to extend it. We don't deny the fact there are increases coming in health care costs and insurance premiums, but it's not because of the loss of this subsidy. That's a very, very small percentage. Overall health care costs are going up because of inflation, because of some new expensive drugs that are being more utilized. Let's get back to the core issue. But these subsidies are not a hill worth dying for the Democrats, and certainly we're going to oppose it.
Do you think the president is eager to do permanent firings of government employees, or do you think that was a part of a threat so that the Democrats would not close the government?
Well, I think all of us who are fiscally conservative, and particularly those who come from the private sector, realize reductions in force are not a bad thing. It's a hard thing, but it's not a bad thing when you have spending that far exceeds revenues, and we've got to find ways to continue to downsize the federal government. And so if done in a thoughtful way with more of a scalpel than blunt force, I'm confident that President Trump and Russ Vought at LMB will do the right thing and should look at reducing the size of the federal bureaucracy through reductions in force.
Can you tell me who's next? You talked to all your colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Who do you think goes next, and who goes after that? Can you give me names?
Yeah, I got to protect my witnesses at the moment. But I will tell you, Joe, it's a fair question. We've got some great Democrat colleagues that we are talking to quietly. They don't like what's going on. They face the political realities and the pressures that all of us oftentimes face here on Capitol Hill. But as you saw just yesterday, we had 2 more Democrat senators break ranks for a total of 3. If we get 5 more, we'll end this shutdown.